quick recap of last week. Now we have 31. I think we can go. So just 2 volunteers run us through last week. And the next thing I'll do is, right, knowledge is good, right, when you acquire knowledge, but it doesn't make sense when you don't apply it. So I would like to find out, after the recap, anyone that has applied any of the learnings thus far from module 1, module 2, module 3. So just share with us your experiences thus far on this training, if you've been able to apply. So let's go on. So please, you assist me. My system is acting funny. So I need a volunteer for this session, right? At the end of the class, I'm going to play, right, about the word for today. The word for today is vision, right? So simply, I'm going to say, if there is no vision, there is no mission. And if there's no mission, there's no result, right? You can't achieve anything if you don't know. And also, there's a saying that if you don't know where you are going, everywhere becomes a destination. And there's also a Japanese train that says that the farther you go on a wrong train, the farther it is for you to return back home. So the earlier you come down when you discover that you have embarked on a wrong train, the earlier it is for you to get back to your original point of departure. So let's have 1 or 2 volunteers. That's my 2 bus talks. Next week, somebody else will give us 2 bus talks. So today we'll talk about vision, and then we'll wrap it up at the end of the meeting with this short video. So let me add volunteers for last week. While I'm trying to resolve, let's take it to 16 minutes so that we can make use of the time. So I'll turn off my video, and then let's have a volunteer. Thank you, guys. Nobody? So we should end the class. I hope you guys can hear me though. Hello? Okay, I'll call
Yes,
you.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Thank you. So I just need someone to volunteer to give us a recap of last week. Just 1 or 2, and then we'll move. So I'm already getting used to know some names. Adiola, I see Adiola every week. Engineer Peter every week. Ayobami, I see you. Isaac, I see you. Kenneth, I see you. Mary, yes. So I'm getting used to some names. Olushola, yes. So I'm marking attendance. So let's have that volunteer. Let's go ahead. Quick one. And so again, another rule is, I'm seeing Xiaomi 257. Please, we assume that you're absent from this class. Put your name there so that we can recognize that. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Anyone? Yeah, I don't want delaying also. So if nobody is talking, I'll be using that time to catch up with the stuff I'm trying to resolve.
Obviously, you are not used to my own name, but it's fine.
That's good now. At least today I'll get used to your name. Victor, go ahead. You know there are many Victor, so maybe if you have added your other name, maybe. So that's fine. Victor, go ahead. Thank you. Abayomi, yeah, go ahead. Abayomi or Victor, any one of you can go ahead. Hello, guys.
Hello.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Last week, we had an interesting class on digital management system. I would say it was a very, very interactive class, and many of us enjoyed it, especially those people who are into, who deal more on, who their job entails more of generating sets and all. So you talked about diesel management system, and we discussed about how diesel engines are preferable to petrol engines when it has to do with a higher capacity, gave the different reasons. And then we talked about how diesel has more, how did I write this? Compression, consumption, and combustion in relation to diesel engines. Then you digressed a little. You talked about intuition, the three I's: intuition, insight, and intelligence. I think I followed the class to that part before my meeting. And yes, I think that's where I ended. That's what I can remember.
All right, thank you. Much appreciated. That was going to conclude that part. I thought about me wanted to assist. Guys, you guys are dulling me today. What's going on? Is it because of tomorrow public holiday? All right. Okay, let me call him now. Ayobami. You guys should make this class very interesting so that we can all enjoy it together. Hello. What's going on? You guys just want me to talk, right? Please, I think we are ending the class now. I think people are they're okay already. So
let's
let's
let's just
let's
end
just
them.
let's just go to our house now. I think today's class is just to enjoy yourself. We are doing meditation today.
All
right.
Maybe we should just call someone, like Engineer
Yeah.
Peter, if you have something to contribute.
Yeah.
Engineer Peter, I would like to hear from you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, facilitator and everybody in the house. Really, I joined the class a bit late last week, and I know we're talking about diesel management system and all that. I remembered I made contribution concerning when we're trying to look at effective management of diesel and all that. I talked about, I think, was it in relation to the environment and all that. So I remember I said something about stacking in generator. That's when the generator either is on the size or oversized vis-a-vis the load we're using it we're operating on it and all that. So some other things were if I may be sincere, I was not really into that class well like that last week. But based on the based on the energy management class level, I know we have dealt much into this diesel management system and all that, the diesel thefting and all those things, and how we could effectively manage our diesel generator and all that. So based on that knowledge from there was what I brought in here, because I logged in late last week and I was not really into the class like that last week. Apologies, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for
Thank you
for the honest feedback. Hopefully, we'll also get a feedback. The essence of learning is not just I used to say that to people, it's not just for us to make up the numbers, right? Let's just sit down. And that's one thing I've discovered about people learning. So the next question is, I'd like to hear from anyone that has applied any, right? That's the way I do evaluation, so that I'll know that am I wasting my time? Of course, facility managers are busy. I quite understand that. But that's another danger for you as a facility manager. You are managing a lot of stuff that you don't even know about. At the end of the day, you'll be frustrated. Like this week, I've seen like 2 FM jobs, 1.4 million, 2 million. And I'm sure when you look at those jobs, which I've quite a number of times I've looked at, it's for those that knows what they're going to do. So maybe one of these days we'll share some of these data. The essence is that as a facility manager, you must have a goal. It's not just, you must leave the boiler room to boardroom. You must leave that boiler room. Boiler is where you're just in operations. Boardroom is where you're in the strategy level. Until you get to that level where your CEO can call you and they can make decisions with you, I'm sure you are still in the lower level of the pyramid in terms of being a top FM. So I want someone to just let us know, share with us anything you've learned in the course of period we've been here. You want to just share with us anything you've applied. Looking for applied knowledge, not no. So I want another volunteer. If you don't, I'll call names to be sure. Like I said, I always want to do this because I want to be intentional about what my discussion with you guys. It's not just to discuss and to mention some words. I want to be sure that I'm passing the right message. So let's go. Anyone that has applied any applied knowledge thus far.
Good morning, Dr. Efe.
Good morning, Adiola.
All right.
Thank you.
For me, in terms of application, because like you said, knowledge without application makes no sense. And for me personally, I want to say a very big thank you to you so far, because you've opened my eyes to see a lot as regards facility management so far. I wasn't in class last week because my network's so fluctuating. It was logging me out frequently, and I was somewhere and it was a bit busy, and I couldn't join the last class. I was looking forward to the recording and the slides, but I haven't seen it. It's not on the Google Classroom yet, but I hope I can get as soon as possible. So basically what I do in essence, I've been into hostel accommodation, and that's in terms of development and management. That is, I rent a space, furnish it for hostel. And, at some point I thought I was doing so much until I realized it was actually facility management, because we was a service charge stuff. We were running service charge. And later on, people started bringing in their own input on residential. Oh, we have this apartment. It's not generating the returns we want. How can you optimize it and everything? And the structure on the first class, the service level agreement, developing that service level agreement made me see how to put things in structure for not just what people are doing, but create a system whereby people can actually follow, the desired outcomes of what we want in terms of not just the cleaning, because we use cleaning as the example, but in other services, I had to start applying it with my hostel accommodation personally, because that's what I do. So, and doing the same thing, keeping that standard for people to see that, yes, we can actually, optimize their assets and keep it in good shape for them and generate more money. Because if something is not properly done, if it's not properly managed, over time it would reduce in value and it will not generate as much as expected. So the service level agreement has been one thing in particular that I've applied in dealing with the people that work with me, the cleaners, the security, the LOMAS stuff, and dealing with every other thing, electricity, trying to ensure that this is a standard, a procedure, a protocol that we must duly follow. I've been able to apply that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Adiola, for that feedback. It was necessary. Any other feedback? Right. So I think we're already. Thank you, Adiola. Service level agreement is highly important as you are trying to manage any property, right? Any other application thus far, what you learned in the class? Guys, I have to 12 to leave, so let me call name. I think just to balance it. What is that? Mary. Okay, after Mary, Olushola on mute, so don't send us message. After Mary. Mary, can you speak? I think I saw one blessing. So. Okay, while Mary is still trying to. Okay, Kenneth, thank you. Thank you for bringing us out. The essence is, let's have this conversation. We are not rushing anywhere. Me, I'm busy than you. You won't believe that. So, but it's part of my personal goal. So Kenneth, unmute and then go ahead. Thank you, Kenneth. I think I still have to learn a lot from you. I love your feedback last week. So Kenneth, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, my background, I'm not a facility manager. I don't have any facility I'm managing. But I approached 2 persons last week to do a pro bono on their short lease, and they are yet to get back to me. I want to use it because I've not done it before, but I've headed the maintenance department in OM30 for about 6 months. That's on the operation oil and gas field. So I want to bring it down to apartments. And that's where I found myself. So I've not implemented anything. I've not done anything, but I normally read and study so I can find somewhere to apply the knowledge. But I want to ask, as we are going through this course, and we're no more in the manual area again, we'll use Excel sheet and those things. Since there are some applications that we normally use to manage this facility, if anyone, while the course is going on, if we get to any part that you can also show us an interface of the app you guys are using, so that one can familiarize with it, so that when you start your own project, you can buy the software and start using it, so they will see you as a serious person, and all your facts will be there to give to them. Thank you.
Okay, please reach out to Kenneth. He wants to change our curriculum. Anyway, just on a lighter note, you want to change our curriculum. But to be honest with you, there's a module on smart technology. So we'll have that opportunity to do that. Do you understand? I hope you can hear me. So we have a module on smart technology. That might be the last module. And for some of you that wonder where are we going, we still have like just 2 more modules, except you guys can beg SCN and say do 1 more. So we're gradually rounding up. And like we said, these are just foundational training. It's not, even as much as it's foundational, I try to touch base with a lot of parts that are important. So maybe the next module will be energy itself. Let's look at not just, the last time we were looking at diesel. This time around, we look at energy itself. And I think that's why I want SCN to come in. If he's back in Nigeria, he's enjoying and touring Kenya on a business trip. So when he's back, I'm sure she'll be able to take that module. Then the last module, we'll take it together. That's smart technology, where Ibotech will come in, they discuss. I'll take some from the first part. They will show you some of their systems. So today, let's not waste time. Since you guys, since it's going to be a quiet class, but we'll manage it like that. Let's go ahead. So today, right, we're going to talk on HSE, right? Let me go straight to the point. Time has gone, right? Did I do full slide? Full view. Okay, let's go ahead. View. Okay, so today we're going to talk on HSE. We're going to look at the intro to HSE, and I'll just be talking HSE. So safety terminologies, we'll see what does HSE mean. In some companies, they've added Q to the HSE. We'll find out what that Q means. Look at hazards and PPE, unsafe act and unsafe condition. That's my favorite part in teaching this course. Fire safety, just preliminary. In the last slide, we talked about different types of fire extinguishers. We look at emergency preparedness / incident reports, and those are the 6. So I'm going to, I think this is the next slide. So I'll leave this to the next one. If I started earlier, I would have asked you, how confident are you in your current HSC knowledge? Share any HSC related challenge. Maybe we'll do that in the last phase. I'm supposed to start with a concept, maybe after the class, from letter A to letter D, pick any concept you can remember in HSC. That's supposed to be part of the class. And then if you have any superpower to improve your safety in your facility, what will it be and why? So we are all superheroes. But let's go straight. Now, the HSC starts for health, safety, and environment, focusing on protecting people, property, planet. That's the 3P. Even in sustainability, some people will say people, planet, and profits. They say 3Ps. But for now, let's look at that. We focus on protecting the people, the property itself, and then the environment. That's why I use the word planet. So what is health? It's the absence of disease, the state of being free from illness or injury. That's health. Then what is safety? The absence of risks or personal injury, the state of being protected from or protected from anything that is likely to cause danger, risks, or injury. Now let's look at the environment itself. That's the surrounding which the organization operates. It could be air, it could be water. You know, the naval guys have facility management. I think I was having a discussion with an architect this week, and he was asking me, why do people use the estate manager? Why is that people like using the estate manager? Is the estate manager facility management? And again and saying all, and said, is it not better to say estate manager than facility managers? What's the difference between property manager and facility manager? These are conversations that you have often, because in Nigeria, people have this idea that facility managers are maintenance manager, and it's not true. As a facility manager, you must ensure that you have basic skill in HSC. So why does it matter for you? I'll share a real-life case study of HSC. And this real-life story is not any other story. And some of us are aware of this story. So why does it matter to you? It's because you want to safeguard occupant and staff. You avoid any legal penalties and reputational damage to maintain the operational efficiency, right? So in HSC, right, it's just about safety. It's about the health of the people. It's about making sure that they are protected from anything that causes danger, risks, or injury. The environment, is it safe for them, right? So that's what HSC simply means. Like I said, some organizations have added Q. They've added Q to the HSC, which we have quality. So in my former company, when I was the CEO, we have QC officer, not SHE officer. So the quality is because also we had ISO certification. So if you are managing some property, they will say the facility manager too should understand ISO, because some companies have ISO 9001, 2015. Now facility management itself has its own ISO standard. ISO standard is just an international standard of operation, right? That some organizations have to show that they are compliant with industry standard, world global structure. So most companies, in fact, 9001 applies to every organization. Do you follow your process? Do you have documentation? Do you have a structure? Are you in compliance with legal framework through which you practice your business? The people operating under that business, are they safe? So that's why ISO 9001, 2015 comes in. So let's look at some safety terminologies that you'll be hearing of from risks, near miss, muster point. So I'll just stick to this. I'd like to talk about muster point. You know, when there is fire incident, everybody assemble at a point. We all know that that's not new. People are assembling at a point. So it's a designated safe location where employee or visitors gather during an emergency evacuation. So if there's a fire outbreak, so everybody is supposed to gather at a location. The reason is that you want to be sure that the number of people in that building are already out. So that's like an assembly. You know, when we're in secondary school, before we go to our classes, we have that assembly. So it's an assembly point. We have what we call risks. Risks. the chance or probability that an hazard, will cause harm. That means we need to now find out what is an hazard. We'll see that in the next slide. But for now, hazard is anything that can cause injury. Anything that can harm you is an hazard. So that chance or probability. So something can harm you. You now look at the probability. Probability is 1 and 0. Probability talks about the chances, the likelihood that this thing can harm you. That's probability. So that there is a sharp object on the floor. What is the probability that it will harm you? 1 to 5. 0 means unlikely. 5 means strong, like you do some survey, strongly agree, disagree. Now, near miss, and you see some of these things that you see it in the slide, an unplanned event that did not result in injury. I'll call near miss as if you are playing football. You're supposed to hit a goal, and the ball just touched the bar. That was a near miss. It means that thing would have caused an injury for you, but it didn't happen. So that's a near miss. You're supposed to step on a nail and then you miss. You don't classify that as an injury. You call it a near miss. And near miss are also recorded because if you don't record near miss, it could cause future accident. And then one thing you will learn that there is difference between accident and incident. So let's look at injury. Any physical harm or damage to a person's body, that's an injury. Accident. So an unplanned event that results in injury, illness, or damage is an accident. While incident, any unplanned event that could have resulted, do you understand, in injury or damage. So in an incident, you can have accident, you can have near miss. Incident is just showing all that has happened, whether it's a near miss, whether it's an accident, any unplanned incident that could have. So whether a near miss, whether it has happened, it didn't happen, or almost happened, you record that as part of incident report. Now let's look at what is hazard. Hazard is any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on something or someone under certain conditions at work. So anything that has the potential to harm you. And I can give an example of an hazard, right? They are just mopping the floor and you see a caution, slippery floor. That means that if you are not careful on that floor that they just mopped, it could lead to physical injury. That's an hazard. So they put that caution sign. Another hazard is when you get to any electrical panel, you will see caution saying, do not touch, right? Because if you don't understand that environment, it could cause injury. So that different type of hazard, physical hazard. I'm going to ask a question at the end of the class. There's a small quiz. Noise, vibration, radiation. If you go to lab, you will see that do not open the door when the light is red in an X-ray room. Because if you see that bulb is red and you decide to open the door, you'll be exposed to radiation. So that's physical hazard. Chemical hazard is some of you that use a cleaning agent. Some of those things have effects. Shampoo, dust and fumes. You are driving, the next car in front of you is blowing some kind of black smoke. That's a chemical hazard. It can affect your lungs. Biological hazard, insects. Then you have bed bugs in your facility. That can cause a lot of harm. Now, ergonomic hazard, you can see the way if I'm slouching like this, it's an ergonomic hazard. Poor posture, that's why a lot of people, the way they lift their load, that's ergonomic hazard. If they're not careful in the long run. You have psychosocial hazard, toxic bosses, bullying, harassment in the office. Because psycho talks about the mind, right? It could affect them. And once something affects your mind, it affects how you interact. That's why it's called psychosocial hazard. Something that affects your mind. So people that are being bullied, you see that they are timid, they can't express themselves. Too much workload can be a social hazard. You just work, you don't have a break. And you're like, when will this stop? Start affecting your mind, like Is this all I'm made for? Just to work and work and work. So stress. So those are hazard. Anything that could harm you. I was talking to my friends recently, could pick up to 50 calls in a day. And I'm like, bro, do you know you are exposed to a lot of radiation? I know it does. I said, no, it's too much. There's a certain number of calls. And not only that, he works till 10, 11 every day. I'm like, bro, you need to watch this over time. Over time, you are actually exposing yourself to a lot of hazard. And if you're not careful, you could look to psychosocial hazard, right? So that's what hazard is. We skip that side to bring us. So now when you have an hazard, the reason why I went through this route is you must just understand that in safety, right, your basic thing you're looking for is hazards. Avoid hazard. Like that's your core. That's your mind. This situation is hazardous. And once it's hazardous, we look at, because of time, that I've shown you different type of hazard and what you need to do. For example, a chair is blocking a corridor. You just remove the chair. Simple. But if you don't remove it, somebody might walk through it and then have issue. Substitution, replace the hazard. So this is a hierarchy of control for hazard, right? How do you eliminate? So hierarchy of control means how do you minimize or eliminate exposure to hazard? For example, substitution. You have a bad chair, which is an economic hazard. You just replace the chair. Do you understand? Engineering control, the machine. There's some, for example, you have refrigerator that used to shock. Because of that, some people have some mental, some have trauma. I never say mental issue, trauma, because each time they see a refrigerator, remember that this refrigerator used to shock. That kind of refrigerator is that you isolate or you remove. You isolate people from that. So there are many ways. Administrative control, you change the way people work. Maybe you train them how to use the equipment. PPE is something we look at, personal protective equipment. That should be the last resort. So the first way is look at, can I eliminate this? That's the first hierarchy. If I cannot eliminate, can I substitute? If I cannot substitute it, are there any control? If I cannot control it, what are the administrative control? Now, if that cannot happen, then you look at PPE. So it doesn't mean that you follow this process all the time, but you look for the one that suits the hazard you are facing, right? One of the hazard also, I'm looking at this training. Do we have any hazards since we're having training? Are we exposed to any hazard? Yes. If you are sitting down for long, can be an economic hazard. Sitting down for long. If you're in a noisy environment, can also be an hazard for you. You are straining your ear to hear the training at the same time listening to what is happening. It also leads to hazard. What are also hazard that could happen in this training? Staring at your screen. Maybe you're using a small phone and they are trying to see this print is small, can affect your eye. And staring at it for 2-3 hours could also be bad, right? The other hazard that could happen is if the volume of your speaker is too loud. I see a lot of, in fact, I fear for young people that use Bluetooth AirPod. And I'm not kind of castigating, it's a big hazard. That AirPod is in your ear from 10 hours every day. And there's something they used to check electromagnetic rays, right? The electromagnetic rays that is coming from your AirPod is higher than the one that even comes from your phone itself and using normal wired earpiece. And they've checked that, and that's why you see that these days, check footballers and some of them are reverting back to the wired earpiece. You know, in this class, I tried not to use earpiece, not that I can't. I don't have any hazard. But the one I have is big, so I don't want to. If you can hear me, I'm good. So those that use AirPod in the morning, in the afternoon, what you are simply doing is you are exposing a part of your brain to electromagnetic rays for a long time. And it's not, if you're not using it, take it off. I've also seen young people, not your older people too, they'll be on music, on this, what they call this earpiece that is wireless, but it's like the DJ. Yes. I think I would have shown you mine. And they'll be on that thing for hours. You know, someone say that. Don't compromise your conviction for convenience. That's one of my words. Don't compromise your conviction for convenience. So don't, because you want to enjoy, you are forgetting about your health. Like somebody say, so little enjoyment should not spoil your life, right? So putting that, there was a day I was calling one of my junior brother or kid brother, and I was calling his name on the street. Hear me, until I tapped the guy, and I looked at him. I said, bro, in the next 5 years, I'm sure something, if you can't hear at this volume, that means you are affected. And let me tell you, the part that is responsible for your stability, it's not your bone. It's a small tissue in your eardrum. Go and find out. And that's one of the ways they torture people in some corrective prison, is that they will make sure they listen to the voice of a baby crying. They're not beating them. They will put large volume of a baby that is crying. They said that's one of the highest level of torture, because the part that is responsible for your stability is your ear. And that's why what you hear, what you listen to affects you mentally, physically, spiritually. Take it from me. What you've taken into this ear. And the volume itself. And that's why it is said that music is one of the tools to control human beings. That's why you see football, before they start, they play national anthem. Every wars, there'll be a music, they'll play a band, protest, there'll be go and check. You can't have protest without music. Check nightclub. People hear certain music and they change, and something change. That's part of hazard. I've said more than I should. So let's move to the next. All right. I hope I'm making sense. Like I said in my class, it's not just about, I'm going to talk about issues of life. So PPE are specialized clothing or equipment worn by employees for protection against workplace hazard. And as a facility manager, you need to make sure your guys are doing this. I'm serious. I've had so many issues. And one of my sites that they have all these HV panel, there used to be some earthing mats that used to be there. Thank God one of these days we had a large explosion. Thank God that they were protective system. They were wearing their PPE, the big ones in that high voltage room. Somebody would have lost their life. Just a rat in that room was the issue, and that rat got fried. So eye protection for eye. So let's look at type of PPE. Eye protection. Nobody should weld without using your goggles. So even some technicians, right? They should wear their goggles. Dealing with something that had fumes, they are cutting POP, all those things should wear their goggles. Face shield, safety glasses, hearing protection, earmuffs. Someone that works near the generator. You know, it's funny how most of facility manager office are near generators. I don't know why. Maybe they should be at the gate. And some technicians are even living in the generator room. I've seen that. After that big generator, they just create a small room. And these guys are exposed to a large volume of a noise that is not conducive. And one of the ISO audits we did in my own former company is that every generator must have certain level of decibels. And I'm not sure most of us even are aware of that. It should not exceed 80. Once your generator is above that, it is harmful to those around there. Therefore, they should put on more earplugs, respiratory masks. I see a lot of technicians. Chlorine, bring them. You're inhaling chlorine, soda ash. You're inhaling all those things, limbos, regularly, and you're doing all those things. All those things. You are sowing a seed. And the law of life says that when you sow a seed, you reap something. So hand protection gloves, make sure you're dealing with electrical. Once your electrical guys are working, they should make sure they wear gloves. You know, one thing about hazard and accident is you might be on a site for 20 years, just one day. But I have a philosophy, I have a principle, and I told my guys that as long as I'm on site, nobody must die. Nobody must have any accident or injury that will lead them to being hospitalized under my watch. So it's a personal goal under my watch. Everybody working under my watch, under me when I was the facility manager, and even as a operation manager, must return back to their house safe. I don't want one family writing letter that when somebody was working on your site, he lost his limb. Therefore, let's go to NHS and begin to look for, it will not be a good head protection. You're working on height, weight, body protection, vest. What are the importance of PPE? It reduces severity of injuries, provides a barrier against hazard. It is required by law. Like I told you guys that safety commissions now, they go to some site. One of the first things they will check when they come to your site is your PPE. So now this is my favorite part. I hope it's still in line. This is like my favorite part in this training on safe act and on safe condition. Now I'm going to ask question at pause. On safe acts, there are actions or behaviors that deviate from safe work procedures. That means it's an act, right, that deviate from safe work procedures and increase the risk of accident. For example, failure to use PPE is because it's an unsafe act. Operating equipment without authorization, unsafe act. Ignoring safety procedures, unsafe act. Bypassing safety device, unsafe act. Working at unsafe speed, unsafe act. While unsafe condition is a physical environmental factors that increase the risk of accidents. That's unsafe condition. Now, let's look at those examples of unsafe conditions that we have mentioned. Hold on, guys. Slippery floor. It's an unsafe condition. Equipment, like I mentioned, refrigerator that used to shock. It's an unsafe condition. Inadequate lighting. I wonder how some people press their phone in the dark. It's an unsafe condition. Poor housekeeping. Through your, some people, someone said, I remember someone, don't raise up your hand, wait now. I'll ask question. Hold on, you told me. Poor housekeeping. Someone said that one of the ways you can learn discipline in life is that every day you leave your house, make sure you lay your bed. I think a naval officer, that's one of the discipline acts in the naval force, is that there's something it does to your brain. So there are some people that they are once, I think one of my pastors used to say that at any time, can Jesus come to visit your house? And I love that. So if I leave my house, I try to make sure is everything okay. Can somebody just come and say, I'm coming to your house? I say, please hang this one, do that one, do this one. Besides some of us, I have like three kids upward. It's a battle, right? So block exits, expose wiring. Now I'll show you a bit. I'll show you this unsafe act, and I'll ask my question. I'll show you. I want somebody to look at this picture and look at what we have mentioned. Just mention one unsafe act and one unsafe condition from this picture. Can somebody mention unsafe act and unsafe condition from this picture? Yes, kindly unmute.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. Who is? I don't know who is talking now.
Peter. Engineer TV, Peter is talking.
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
All right, thank you. We are seeing two diagrams here. One is looking like a typical workshop. Now that man standing on the drum or barrels and all that, he's exposing himself to a whole lot of danger. Apart from, even if he's balanced, apart from the fact that the barrels are not even balanced, he's standing there while he's working at the roof or on the ceiling. The other person welding too, you can see that you have, I don't know if it's that cable or if it's a hose or whatever. So this workshop just look highly unkept. And it's difficult to say the work that is being done there. Anybody that is entering there, even if you are putting on PPE or whatever, you could even get yourself entangled in those cord or whatever that is on the ground, and this person can fall. When we look at the other picture there, the other person seems to be working on scaffold and all that. But then a proper way to work on the scaffold, you should have whatever attached to your safety gear that anchors you to your scaffold tower. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next person. Sorry, I'm trying to manage my screen now.
All right. Thank you, Dr.
Is my screen still being shared? Let me know if you can see my screen. If you cannot see my screen, let me also know.
Yes, not that bold.
Bro. Go ahead. I'm trying to adjust my screen.
Okay, good morning, Dr. Ife. Good morning, everyone. Safety is very, very important to everyone, and safety is everyone's responsibility. Safety is not something we just practice today and forget about it tomorrow. So from the pictures on the screen, the man that is wearing a reflective jacket, if you check, you will see that he's not stable where he's hanging, and also he's not putting on harness belt. And if you check the other side of the people who are in the workshop or on the workshop, the man standing on an iron is standing on an unstable platform. And also, poor housekeeping is also welding in that very location. His closeness to the fire is very poor, so no safety precaution is being taken in that regard. So they need proper housekeeping in that location. And also the man with reflective jacket where he's hanging, no harness belt, so his posture is not properly in line with safety precaution. So there are a lot of things they need to put in order for their safety. Thank you very much. That is my little contribution to both the Unsafe Act and Unsafe Condition.
So what I want you guys to do for me in this picture, the sense I had to put this picture is just mention one Unsafe Act and one Unsafe Condition. Like I said, this for me, that's if you understand these two words, that this situation is an unsafe act and unsafe condition. You have done a lot for yourself in safety. And then the way you think is different, right? So let's go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
All right.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. So one unsafe act in this picture is not trying to fix something on the sea and standing on a drum that is one is vertical and one is standing upright. So just go for sliding and then cause a severe injury to the work person. Thank you.
Hello,
Hello,
sorry, my network.
Okay. Hello, sir.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Malik. So from the picture in the workshop, the liquid on the floor is an unsafe condition for that workshop. And the way the way the workshop is being arranged is the in-house management is not well arranged, whereby they suspend the drums. Then the painter on that scaffold is an unsafe act. They have provided every equipment to avoid any hazard or accident or any incident. But the way he's doing his painting is not balanced. So it's an unsafe act.
Thank you. Next one, last contribution. Just mention one unsafe act and unsafe condition.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. The unsafe act here from the welder is that he is welding without an hand glove. And the unsafe condition here is that we have a slippery floor.
Then we have what?
A slippery floor. A slippery floor. There's oil on the ground.
Right.
Oh, is it water?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. There's oil.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I said the unsafe condition here is that we have oil spillage on the floor, which
Yes,
will definitely cause slippery or someone to trip and fall.
yeah, thank you. So thank you everyone for your contribution. I think whatever we have, all the contributions are correct. They are quite apt. Sorry again. So let's go to the next slide. All right. Now I've mentioned that. So my last question will be, what's going on? Sorry, guys. I don't know. So my last question will be, in terms of unsafe act and unsafe condition, which one is easier for you to manage? I like to get feedbacks. Any contribution? We're rounding up now, don't worry.
Hello, sir.
In terms of
I think you
unsafe
can manage the acts. You can manage the acts more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me use this one again. Which one is more difficult to prevent?
Safe condition.
Condition is
okay, so let's go ahead. On that our chat box, I think I will just put the one you feel is difficult to prevent, that is very hard, between unsafe act and unsafe condition. So put your responses there. Everyone on the platform, please do that. I'll find a way to check that platform to make sure I'm following up with you guys. So I'm checking the platform now, and I'm sure.
Is it as a facility manager or
based on this class we have looked at, and based on what you think, I'm going to that's the next slide. Which one is more difficult to prevent? Unsafe act, unsafe condition. Olufemi said unsafe act. Let's go. Okay, so I'll be marking the script. Please, this is the quiz for today. Help me to watch those that I'll tell you the answer at the end of the class. Let's go ahead. Only Femi, please. Let's go ahead. Unsafe act. Don't worry, just type on the chat box. I don't want any comment. Unsafe condition is difficult. Unsafe act, unsafe condition. Yusuf. No, don't worry. Which one is more? The answer I just want is put unsafe act. Which one is more difficult to prevent? Unsafe act, Peter. So please, someone on Peter said, another Peter said unsafe condition is difficult to control. Okay, I hear you. Isaac said unsafe act. Okay, unsafe act. Oh, my Bible is not here. I wanted to take this poll. So those that are on the unsafe act, you will nominate your class governor. Those that are in the unsafe condition, you will nominate somebody from that constituency. They are going to have a little debate, very short 1-minute debate on which one is more difficult to control. Please, if you're on this platform and you did not type anything, I will assume that you are absent from this class. Unsafe condition. I don't know who is Nokia 2.3. Please put your name. There's nobody like that. Your name is not Nokia. Malik says unsafe condition. So I'll pick just two. Mary. So what I'll do is I'll pick two ladies. I'll check their Chidima Okay. Said unsafe condition. Mary said, so what I'm going to do is I want two people to unmute. I want the ladies to talk now. Mary said unsafe condition. Let me find that lady. Thank you guys for your response. Mercy said unsafe act. So between Mercy and Mary, you guys should unmute and tell us why. Mary said unsafe condition. Mercy said unsafe. Agbo Peter, please mute. Your name is not Mary, please. Mercy said unsafe act. So Mercy is that unsafe act. Why Mary said unsafe condition. So you guys you have the floor. I'm closing this poll. So once you don't have your name, I'm sure Peace is taking record. We have two co-supporters, Mary and Mercy, on mute. Again, Mary answer is unsafe condition. It's more difficult to prevent. Why Mercy said unsafe act. So can we have the two ladies in the house unmute themselves? Piyang Pam also said unsafe. Let's hear the ladies. Ladies are very good when it comes to these two because they know what they are good in housekeeping. So it's part of something they are inbuilt in to know what is an unsafe act and unsafe condition. So go ahead, Mary. Over to you, Mary and Mercy. Again, stand by your conviction. Good afternoon. Who is now talking now? Mary.
This is Mary.
Isaiah.
Yes.
Powerful name. All right,
okay,
go ahead.
I'm actually a newbie in FM. I just want to use my little knowledge to understanding. I would say unsafe condition is difficult to manage because if the environment is not suitable enough for you to even begin the process, so there let me say higher chance of accidents. But if you have a safe condition, but just the act, I think you can at some point be able to manage the environment. I don't know I'm being on.
No, every answer is based on your opinion. You know, if I write 6, if it's in your front, it's 6. The opposite person is saying 9. So it's between 6 and 9. Thank you. We're going to find out the answer at the end of this debate. Mercy, although your baby is giving you one inch shower, but it's fine. Mercy. Maybe not call Mercy.
I'm ready to go on.
Yeah, go on.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mercy.
Okay. So I think unsafe acts are more difficult to prevent because acts need human beings. It's about people. It's about controlling people doing things that are unsafe. That's more difficult to prevent because managing people is very, very difficult. You know, somebody can come out of nowhere and do something unsafe despite established guidelines and advice because of one thing or another. So there's just so many variables when it comes to human beings. But for conditions can be controlled by systems and processes that are established. Like Mary said, it's about environment. If you already arranged an environment, the conditions of an environment, the way it's supposed to be, since it is about controlling things and not people, it tends to remain static, you know. It tends to stay that way that you have set it up if there's a system in place. But for human beings, they can change. The variables are like endless and limitless. So that's why I think unsafe acts are more difficult to prevent. Thank you.
Let us clap for both ladies. That's a good perspective. But I want to say that you guys are correct in your own way, but the answer is unsafe act. Like Mary has said, it's very difficult to control people. You can train somebody for 10 years and decide not to wear the helmet because maybe he had a bad day at home. So unsafe act is quite difficult because it has to deal with that personnel. You are the one making that decision. Unsafe condition is a thing, but when you're dealing with people, and that's why you can employ somebody that is a good start today. Tomorrow, the person will change. Human being can change. Human beings are very difficult sometimes because we're exposed to various situations of life, circumstance, right, and reasoning. So human being, you can do everything. Somebody can say, well, Organo they around. Well, I didn't nobody they see me. Quickly do a job. So unsafe act is very, 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 very difficult. Thank you guys for the responses and for those. I hope you guys are listening to. Where is this? So now you see what I've said. Prevention of unsafe acts. Changing behavior is not easy. Best prevented by developing what? A safety culture. Prevention of unsafe condition. You carry out inspection, encourage employee to report, safety audit, good housekeeping. That's why I said unsafe condition is easier to prevent, while unsafe act is more difficult to prevent. So one of the ways, you see that there are many ways to eliminate unsafe condition. One unsafe act, you just say, just develop a safety culture and have a strong system. Even at that, the best of the best can one day be the worst of the worst. All right, thank you guys. Like I said, today's class is short. That's not the end of the class, don't worry. I'm trying to. All right, so fire prevention. We have looked at fire suppression. In this place, you have two types of system. There is system to detect fire, and I want you guys to know the difference. There are systems to suppress fire. Now, to detect fire, you have smoke detectors. I see a lot of offices, they don't care about smoke detectors, but they have fire extinguishers. That's not good. Don't forget that reactive is more expensive than preventive. So preventive is fire alarm system. That's fire detection, to detect heat detectors. In the kitchen, do you have smoke detectors or heat detectors, and why? So when in your kitchen, there are smoke detectors. I've been to facilities when the facility manager is putting smoke detector in the kitchen. You continue to hear the alarm now because you cannot say they should not fry fish and meat. That's not possible. So what you have is a heat detector that when it detects a certain heat at a certain temperature, it should trigger. So in fire management, there are two words you should know. You should have fire detection, fire suppression. So fire suppression, you have fire extinguisher, sprinkler system, fire hydrant. Now I've seen recently there's something that people have been advertising online now. It's a breaker, a fire extinguisher breaker that you must install in all your distribution box, so that once there is any fire incident in that box, the fire extinguisher breaker will just explode and then release the fire extinguisher content into that distribution box. So it's like a breaker. You put it in every distribution box. I think it's just 10,000. So those are things you will get as we go on the class. Emergency response. I've asked people, if there's fire, what do you do? People don't simulate. There can never be fire, but it will happen. We know the incident that happened in Lagos Island, that Afriland properties, right? It shows that they have it on paper. I've been on part of the inquiry, MD and all those things. I know what happened behind the scene, but it's not for this class. They set up, Nigeria now, they set up inquiry, external investigation, government investigation. They did all that. But after that time till now, everybody has moved on. Although they implemented some internally, but they didn't share that report publicly. But they actually went into, in fact, what I learned was the FM was actually sent to prison because 8 people lost their lives. So how will the guy that woke up that morning and imagine that something like that will happen? So don't say it will not happen. So you must have emergency response, evacuation procedures. In my office, we make sure that every quarter we have simulation. We don't tell them that there's going to be fire drill. How can you be a facility manager? You've never done fire drill. At least the least you can do is have a fire drill once in a year. See how your people react when there's fire. That is how they react when there's real fire. You see somebody there is fire, they are still looking for bags, they want to carry this. Some people don't even understand that flame rise from down to up, so you don't stand up. Be on that lower ground. Be crawling is better than standing up, because it will rise from that lower ground to the upper ground. No, you go on, you lay down flat and then you crawl out. There are many ways anyway. So make sure you have ways to, proper storage, no smoking policies. Some people have no smoking policy on their site. So there are policies that you need to have. We talked about type of fire extinguishers. You can check that in the last slide. And you can learn the word pass. Pass means pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. That's the way to use fire extinguisher. It's called pass. You pull the plug. If you had time, I would have shown you a video. You aim the fire, you squeeze, and then you sweep around, right? Squeeze, there is a lever where you have to press. That's squeezing. And then like fleet, then you sweep around. Every site must have a designated fire wardens. You must undergo training with Red Cross, undergo training with fire service, right? Undergo normal training with a safety practitioner who assist you, right?
Yes, sir.
This all right, guys.
Yes.
Let's go to emergency preparedness. You must have Minami Anaclet. Please mute. Please. Minami Anaclet. I don't know where you're calling from, but I'm begging, please mute. Now, for emergency preparedness, how do you prepare for emergency? These things are deep, but like I said, we are doing foundational class, so you need to. Emergency preparedness involves planning and taking action to minimize the impact of emergencies. What are the steps? Identify potential emergencies. In fact, most of these things you need to consult, ask a consultant, reach out to someone like us who will help you. We come in, we do risk assessment, we develop an emergency plan, we establish all these things. Is a consultant. A facility manager, if you want to do this thing, it costs a lot because it might not be properly trained. So you go around your site. These are possible potential emergencies. If there is fire, what do we do? Like doing Ebola, you see that Nigeria as a country doesn't have a good emergency plan. Everything was just last minute. Even a country like America, they have disaster management plan, which is even under emergency preparedness. If there is earthquake, countries like Japan, South Korea, coastal countries, they have plans, right? So as a facility manager, what happens if there is fire? What happens if there is a disease outbreak? What happens if there is, most of the time, our major emergency is fire. Go and check on the site. Develop a plan. Have a schematic diagram or as-built drawing of the layout of your building. If there's fire, everybody go through the exit door. Is your door fire resistant? All those things. Communication procedures. Who are the fire wardens? I've seen people, they manage tall buildings and they don't have a fire expert. They don't have a fire warden. Designated fire wardens. They are staffs. They are to be trained. So what we did in my own company is all the facility managers are potential fire wardens. They've undergone training. If there's fire, they know what to do. Conduct training and drills. I've said that you can have a good plan on paper, but if you don't conduct drills, nothing will happen. How many of you have first aid kits, fire extinguishers? There are also checklists for fire. That's what is HSC manager. But I've seen a lot of FM companies, they don't even employ safety managers again. That's one of bad trend going out in that industry. A lot of big companies don't have a safety manager in their company. They say, train all the facility managers. And what I've discovered is those sites, they will never be compliant to safety because they left everything to the facility manager. But when you, as a company, you must have 2 to 3 or one strong QC manager or strong safety manager that is not going to train, go through your site. Like what I did my we go through site, we conduct safety inspection every quarter. We have checklists to know whether this site, in terms of safety, they are okay. Now, incident response, you must know how to write if there is a fire break. There must be a way, you must have, what are the steps when there are incidents or how do you respond? Immediate action, report it, investigate it, implement corrective actions, right? These are ways or methods when you have an incident, document everything. Some of the software we even used to have is that when there is an incident on site, whether accident, near miss, you must use that software to record it, and there must be a report. There must be a corrective action. And then every year we check how many incidents do we have, how many accidents do we have, how many near miss we have, right? That's what we are going to round up today. And I'm going to, although the answers are there, let me just go to the last conclusion. HSE is crucial for protecting people and the environment. Facility managers play a vital role in maintaining a safe and healthy environment. Proactive risk assessment, hazard identification are essential. Continuous improvement is key to effective HSE management. Now, we have questions. What does HSE stand for? Who is going to answer that number 1 question? I need just 10 volunteers. And we are done. Then questions I hand over to Chris, and that's the end of the class for today. Next week, we're going to look at energy management. Well, Victor, number 1.
HSE stands for health, safety, and environment.
Thank you. Victor, number 2.
Okay, number 2. Physical hazard is slippery floors.
Thank you. Number 3. Isaac. I can't see, but I'll just follow. Isaac, you raise up your hand though.
Yeah. Number 3, an unplanned event that could have resulted in injury or damage.
Thank you. Number 4, Abayomi. Number 4, Abayomi. We still need 5 more hands to go up. Abayomi is not talking. Number 4, Mary.
To protect employees.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Abayomi. Number 4. All right, Abayomi, Mary, answer number 4.
What is the primary purpose of PPE? Employees from workplace hazard.
Thank you. Number 5, Peter. Thank you.
Number 5.
That's
In
very
the hierarchy of control, which measure is generally considered the most effective? In the hierarchy of control, which measure is generally considered the most effective? PPE. PPE.
Hierarchy of control.
In the hierarchy of control, which measure is generally considered the most effective? Administrative control?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's go number 6. I'll still review that number 5 again. Who is helping us with number? Mercy, number 6. Go ahead.
Number 6,
Number 6.
what is the muster point? It is a designated safe location for emergency evacuation. That's B.
Thank you. Number 7. Isaac, you want to help us again? Guys, we have, okay.
So the following is an example of an unsafe act using the operating equipment without authorization.
Thank you. Number 8,
Without
Victor.
authorization.
Correct. Number 8.
Coming to an incident. Conduct a thorough investigation.
Number 8. Is I calling him?
Number 8, Taiwo Maiwa. What is the first step in responding to an incident? Reporting, no, providing the aid and securing the area.
Correct. Number 9. Who's assistant to number 9?
What is the purpose of the class?
Number 9, Dr. Ife.
Go ahead,
To
man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
identify hazard and evaluate potential harm.
Correct. Number 10. Mercy.
Number 10, why is it important to conduct emergency drills?
Victor, allow Tunji to talk, please, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I've not
Okay.
had his voice. Olatunde, please. That's the last person. This is his first time of raising up his hand. So, sorry. Olatunde, yeah, over to you. Olatunde.
An emergency procedure.
Okay, number 10. The answer is to train employees on emergency procedures.
All right, thank you, guys. That's the end of the class. Over to you, Mercy. Let's take 1 or 2 questions, and I'm good. Thank you, guys. I hope you all had a great day. Great class. Very short, but let's manage it that way. Just trying to meet up with time. So next is, I think that's the end of the slide. So, Peace, over to you. I'm not sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ife. Please, let's appreciate Dr. Ife. Please, a round of applause, please. Let's show some appreciations. Let's show some appreciations, please. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you for always taking time every Thursday to be here. We all really, really, really do appreciate you. And this section has always been very, very impactful. And yeah, we are grateful to have you. So thank you to also our participants that joined. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay. I was supposed to call out the list of attendance, but I'll just drop the list on the group. So yes, you can just check the group. And if your name is not there, it means maybe or maybe not you did not stay to the end of the class. So yes. Does anybody have any extra question to ask?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good
This is
afternoon, Ezekiel.
Okay, please, I want to ask, the last time we had the class,
Yeah.
talked about that we can get this same class on YouTube. I don't know whether it's still available.
Yes, like every class, it is always live on YouTube. So as we are here on Zoom, it is already live on YouTube. So once the class ends, it uploads immediately on YouTube. So just search for Ibotech Limited on YouTube and you see all the videos, all the facility management training classes that we have done, including this one. Yes, Victor, you can ask your question.
Okay. So sorry, I'm not on the group yet. I don't know the group that. I'm not on the group.
You're not on the group chat yet?
No, not yet. But I've been attending the meetings.
Okay. I'll send the group link now. Please click on the link once I drop it on the chat box and join. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, 2 more questions. Victor, since you have a question, you can ask.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if Dr. Ife is still online. The
Yes,
first question I
yes.
want, okay, the first question I wanted to ask, thank God you have clarified it on the group chat concerning the hierarchy of control, because the person said PPE, so you've corrected it. You said it's elimination. The second question on safety, the first definition you gave on safety, I don't know. I am quite do I use the word uncomfortable? You said it is the absence of risk or personnel injury. I thought risks are always there. How come safety is the absence of risk? I don't know if you get
So
my
I
question.
didn't say that's the definition of HSC. But I'm just giving you the
No,
literal.
safety. You gave
No,
a
hold on. Yes, we're all learning. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So I'm saying that what I gave you is literal definition of the word safety. Any word you see there is, you can check it on dictionary, right? It's not in terms of HSC definition. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. It's just a dictionary explanation. I'm trying to find out that place of what the word safety means.
You're breaking though. I'm not saying that's the HSC definition you gave. Oh. That's not what I'm saying. No. I'm only saying when you talked about safety itself, you said it's the absence of risk. So I just needed clarification. I'm not saying if you are wrong or right, but I felt that I was feeling that risk is always there. There is no way you can leave risk. It's just to identify it. That's the main thing. That's my question.
Okay, so I think we are saying the same thing in different words. You know, if you want to define safety under HSC, you can say that. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying, but if you want to explain what safety means in a literal words, that's what I have done in that definition, right? And
Okay.
I said what I have in that slide, I want to show you so that we're on the same page. It's just a literal interpretation of the word safety. Now, there are some words that, no, this is not, there are some words that you can have that industry definition. I don't know what I understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
What I just said in that slide, I want to find out that slide. That slide is still. I don't know, I'm finding it difficult to find out that slide, but yeah. It says that, just hold on, I will get it. It's not too big. Here is my PDF. Okay. So look at it very well. There's another, of course, like I said, we're all learning. So if you have a better definition, that would be good for us. I said the state of being protected from or anything that is likely to cause, I put another bracket there, cause danger. So it's just an act of being protected from risks or injury, right? That's why you have that other bracket. That's where the industry definition. But if you just say a literal definition of what safety is, that's what you say, anything that will not cause you injury. Do you understand? So it's just the way you are looking at it. You are saying that this thing will not cause you injury, basically. Anything that will not harm you means you are safe. So, but I don't know if you have any better definition, I'll be glad to listen to you. I see another hands that are going up. I hope I'm clear anyway. You guys can always have conversation with me on LinkedIn, on the platform. So our class does not end on Zoom. Olufemi, go ahead. Please, you are the one in charge now.
All right.
Hello,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please, this is going to be the last question. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, mine is not a question. I just want to contribute to this last week. I mean, the last question that when you define safety, you define it as an absence of risk. And the person was asking, you want more clarification. I want to talk to that person. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead now, go ahead.
So I just want to talk to that person that definition is actually correct, because when we are talking about risk itself means something that is inappropriate, it's not safe. When something is risky, it means that it is not safe, it is inappropriate. So if we are now defining safety as an absence of that risk, I think that definition is very correct. I just want to contribute to that. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anyway, the teacher too is not always correct though, so but it's fine. Thank you for that contribution. Anyway, you can always check the definition of risks in the safety terminology. As Solufemi said, that's the definition. Anything that can harm you. And if anything that can harm you is absent, you are safe, definitely. So peace, I sign out.
All
and
right. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Efe. Thank you also to every of our participants that joined, especially the ones that stayed to the end of the class. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to the next class next week, Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. See you next week. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers. So I sign out.